I mean, I've got a single child. He's a grown man now, but I remember puberty. I learned during puberty that there's nothing wrong with teenagers, that reasoning with them will not aggravate. That's just also a law of nature, I think. But boys and girls, the differences between them explode during puberty. The ACLU, which believes that transgender women, biological males who transition into transgender women, they say it's a fact that trans girls are girls. And the ACLU and other activists have also said that it's a myth. They call it a myth that transgender female athletes, like Katie, formerly John, they say it's a myth that transgender female athletes have a physical advantage over girls. They're wrong. This is wrong. You don't need a graduate degree in anatomy to know that. I mean, those claims are specious. Medical science and athletic data both demonstrate that the difference is obvious and that males, no matter how they identify, have a significant advantage over females in girls' sports. Even before birth, when the baby is in a mother's womb, this is a scientific fact, baby boys begin developing different hormones and skeletal structures than baby girls that help them outperform girls when they're older. That's just a fact. We can say we wish it weren't. I'm fine with it. Some people say, well, that's bad. Well, take it up with nature. Take it up with God. But it's a natural fact. When that baby's in the womb, testosterone exposure for that baby boy alters his brain development. That improves that baby boy's motor skills and increases that baby boy's aggression vis-a-vis a baby girl. Both motor skills and aggression give that baby boy, when that baby boy grows up, an advantage over a girl in women's sports. Boys, the science also shows, they go through what's called a mini puberty. Still a baby boy in the mother's womb. The baby boy experiences a mini puberty, is what the scientists call it, right before birth, that helps a baby boy, once that baby boy is born, to gain weight faster than if he were a baby girl. And that ultimately is why boys tend to be taller than girls once they're born, on average, later in life. Now, the differences between boys and girls, again, this is a law of nature, or a law of God, depending on what you believe. The differences between boys and girls explode during puberty. I mean, I've got a single child. He's a grown man now, but I remember puberty. I learned during puberty that there's nothing wrong with teenagers, that reasoning with them will not aggravate. That's just also a law of nature, I think. But boys and girls, the differences between them explode during puberty. Boys develop 14% larger hearts when they go through puberty, and 12% larger lungs. So boy versus girl, the boy's heart is going to be 14% bigger and the lungs 12% larger. An obvious advantage in sports. That helps boys take in oxygen and pump blood more efficiently than girls can. That's just a fact. And that gives them a clear edge in endurance sports: running, cycling, rowing, basketball. Girls also, during puberty and afterwards, develop a wider pelvis. This decreases the amount of force their legs exert when they're lifting, or when a girl is kicking, or a girl is pedaling, which also puts a girl as an active nature at a relative disadvantage when you compare female athletes to male athletes. Boys during puberty and after puberty on the other hand, they develop broader shoulders than girls. I think we know that. When they develop those broader shoulders, that makes space for upper body muscle mass. It is hard to think of a sport in which a higher muscle to fat ratio, and boys have a higher muscle to fat ratio. It is just a scientific fact. It's hard to think of a sport in which a higher muscle to fat ratio is not helpful. The average boy will also grow, again, scientific fact, 5 inches taller than the average girl. And even when men and women are the same height, men have higher levels of bone density, which helps them move more forcefully and escape more injuries. And that, I mean, you don't, again, boys just have a physical advantage over girls, and we see it in everyday life.